Hello and welcome to another episode of eBay Scavengers. We're at ebayscavengers.com, turning trash into cash. This is episode 23, and I'm here with Jay. This is Ryan.
Hello, Ryan.
And what are we talking about today?
Okay, so today is going to be about answering people's questions.
Because people have been contacting us. People have been subscribing on iTunes. They've been emailing us and leaving comments. So that is huge for us.
Yep. And so we just want to take this time as people are emailing us its questions. And number one, we encourage people to actually leave comments on the podcast, on the blog posts that they have a question about, because other people, as listeners might be able to help answer. But, if you do ask a question, we'll do our best to answer because, some of these questions are very specific things I wouldn't have really thought to answer. So we're going to take that time right now. Number one is Don. Don was asking if we could actually speak very specifically about when we talk about finding something for $1 and selling it for $30 or $40.
$30 to $40, yes.
Because that's really our business.
Right.
And Mike and I have talked about that extensively. We go out, we find something for $1.
50 cents sometimes,
and then we come home and we list it on eBay and it's $30 or $40. That's really the bread and butter of our stuff. We sell about 5 to 8 things a day like that, and that's how we make a living on eBay.
Yep.
And it sounds really easy, but he's asking, well, I go into a Goodwill and, I'm not finding things.
Right.
I'm buying things for more than $1 and then I sell it and it's less than $30 or $40. So number one is, I think sourcing material is really the whole key to being an eBay scavenger. You cannot just go to like a Goodwill, because we've said it before many times. Goodwills are basically becoming like TJ Maxx or some department store where things are cheap if you're buying for it yourself, but very rarely do we find things for sale.
Right.
Good.
So when you say sourcing, you mean finding stuff at different places for as cheap as possible.
Right. How do you find stuff for $1? So number one is we like to go to the little tiny independent thrift stores.
Church thrift stores.
Yeah, often they're run by a church or they're even in the basement of a church.
And I'm talking junky thrift stores. Like thrift stores, Goodwill right now is pretty shiny and clean.
Well, it's not that some of them can be junky, but really you want the ones that are independent.
Right.
They're normally run by volunteers.
Yeah.
Like church ladies very often,
Right.
They're really, and they're getting all this stuff for free, so everything's just profit to them. No one's getting paid.
Right.
So they're just trying to move stuff.
The other thing, too, is when you can find a thrift store that does like a bag sale.
Right.
Something in bulk, like that we were talking earlier about the Goodwill warehouse. Like not item by item, this item's $5. Like you're not making a profit on
So
that.
how do you find these places? So what I do is I open up Google, either on my computer or if we're just in the car on my phone, and I will type into Google Maps thrift store.
Right.
And it will show me all the thrift stores, in a 10-mile radius. I skip over the Goodwills and the Salvation Armies, and I just find like the St. Teresa's or
St. Vincent.
St. Vincent's,
That's usually good.
Or places like that. The other good places are, there will be these little independent thrift stores that are run by guys who go to estate sales and they buy huge lots of junk and then they bring them to their stores, and those places are often really junky.
Yeah.
But if you go in there, there'll be treasures, you know? Because these guys, I don't know, I think it might be wrong for me to say they're lazy, but they really don't want to take the time to organize and to price things.
Right.
They just kind of throw stuff up on the shelves in corners, and they very often we'll just do deals. It's with
Right.
you. And we like to go and we bundle. We go and we grab a bunch of stuff, put them on the thing, and we say how much. And he'll just give us a flat rate. And it might be $20 for a big pile of stuff.
Right. The other thing, too, is now there are some of those junker guys who will look stuff up on eBay and be like, this typewriter is worth $400. And you're like, great, put it on eBay then. But there are, people who don't know the treasures, don't care, and that's good. The other place that you can go for cheaper stuff, too, is auctions. Now, sometimes things at auctions get high, obviously. We saw someone buy a milk bottle for $900.
Right.
That's insane. But there are some things sometimes where you're like, no one else thinks this is valuable. I think it's cool. Someone in the world on eBay will think it's cool. I'm going to pay $2 for it.
And the way that you find auctions is through that website, auctionzip.com, and we'll put that link in the blog post. But basically, you put in a zip code, and it shows you auctions within 25 miles of you. And when we say auctions, often these are like estate sales. Someone's died, the family does, picks out what they want, then they just throw it into auction. And they're selling everything in this person's house. Everything.
Right.
And, I didn't understand auctions, or I always assumed it was all be like fancy paintings and really nice stuff.
It's not that kind of auction.
These are like I don't say bottom of the barrel, but these are where the junkers go. Right. And they'll have parts of the auction where they're just selling boxes of stuff. They just have a mishmash of stuff. Right. And you bid on that. And very often you can buy a box of stuff for $5.
And the thing about they call them box lots. If you go early and you look during the preview, I have found things that sold for $1,000. Literally, right. I found something that sold for $1,000 buried at the bottom of a box.
It was an old
Rolleiflex camera.
Right.
And I was bidding against our arch nemesis against this. This one guy who knows the value of everything, just like we do. But we won the bid, and I sold it. So,
But most times, though, you're buying, like we always say, stuff that ends up selling for about $30 to $40,
right.
Because that's salt and pepper shakers and
right.
Lamps and leather belts and,
right.
Just random items that people don't really think are that special. But if you actually take good photos and put it online with a good description, that's how things sell for $30 to $40, because you're selling something that's some cowboy belt that no one cares about in your county, but someone in London sees that cowboy belt and it's this exotic item, right. And they're happy to give you $30 to $40 right. for it.
And the other aspect of it is it takes experience selling this stuff, because once you sold something for $30 to $40, you're like, great, I'm always going to buy that thing.
Right.
It takes the first experience to do it. Because if you've only sold things for like $3, you're like, what the hell am I doing? Yeah. So, we've been doing this for 5 years. So it's taken us time to really cultivate, like, I will always get that thing.
Right. I've got a list of things in my head that I know will sell for $30 to $40. And that goes back to it, is that Don may be asking, well, what exact things do I buy? And that really depends on your own passion,
Right.
If you're into like shoes, there are a lot of different kinds of shoes that sell for $30 to $40. The penny loafers with the leather soles.
Right.
The Red Wing boots.
Yep.
The leather girl Huaracha sandals.
Really, but we have another seller friend who sells stuff for $30 to $40 to $50 that I would never buy because I'm not interested in that, but she constantly sells things like trench coats, tassel loafers. I hate those things. I don't want to sell those things. Right. She does a great business selling those things. She probably makes a living from selling those things in like overalls. She sells $35 overalls
all
day long. Overalls. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So now, when I go to the thrift store, I'm constantly like, "Where are your overalls? Give me your overalls."
And honestly, if we can't find them,
I can't find them anywhere.
She must have been able to source them. So anyway, Don, that's I hope that answers it. I mean, first go after the thing you're interested in, and again, have that eBay app open on your phone when you're in these stores. Or I guess the final thing about this is it's yard sales.
Yes.
And again, that's what Mikey and Wendy have taught us, is that once Friday comes around, or even Thursdays, look in your newspaper, and often that's where those things are still advertised. Or start driving around its neighborhood and hit the yard sales, because yard sales are where people aren't really trying to make a lot of money. They're just trying to get rid of stuff for pennies.
Yeah.
And God, we find the best things at yard sales.
And we don't often mention yard sales because we do live in a place where it does get cold. So it's just starting to be yard sale season.
Right.
So we're like, oh yeah, yard sales,
Right.
Always bring small bills and a pocket full of change to yard sales, because people are going to want a quarter, 50 cents, whatever. You just can't walk in there with a $20 bill,
But, I think once you kind of like get that eye, and you have that list in your head of things that will sell for $30 or $40.
Yeah.
The problem isn't finding it. The problem is just dealing with it, because you get so much stuff.
Right.
And then you have to list it. And as we always say, always be listed.
Always list. Yep.
Okay. The next question we had this week was from Steve, who he sounds like he's a experienced eBayer already, but he talks asking us that we don't ship for free, or he's asking us if we do ship for free, because eBay encourages sellers to do that. And the answer is we don't ship for free, because I actually answered it on the blog post, but it's reasons. Number one is a lot of stuff we sell is like of really weird different sizes.
Right.
If we were only selling like sandals, it'd be easy to offer free shipping, because everything would just go in a flat rate envelope and you're good to go, because then you kind of know is what the cost is. But if we're selling typewriters and lamps and books and things,
and weird men's shoes that weigh 4 pounds,
Yeah. And then the other thing is that it's just, we tried free shipping for several months when eBay first encouraged us to do that, and we didn't find that our sales went up at all.
And I didn't feel like I was saving that much on fees.
Right.
I just was like, I don't really see the difference.
And we actually found we were losing money, because no matter what you do as a seller, you're always going to get 1 to 3% of people that want to return the item. You might not have done anything wrong. They just get the shoes or the shirt or whatever, and they try it on, and they're like, I don't like this.
Or it doesn't fit, so I'm returning.
And they want to send it back. And the problem is that even if they will pay for the shipping back to you, because you shipped it for free, you lose that money right there. So if it costs you $6 to $8 to ship a pair of shoes and someone returns it, that money's gone. Right. And now you've just lost. So if you're selling something for only $30 and you just lost $6 to $8 on shipping, even if you sell it again, your margin really goes down. Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of feel like shipping is not part of my profit. Like, I don't make money off of shipping stuff, so I don't want to hide that cost.
Right. Yeah, I just did not see much of a difference, and I feel like you said, eBay wants to encourage it because on Amazon, whatever, they do free shipping, and
But man,
for a small seller like us,
if you go on any of the forums for people that sell on Amazon, I mean, there are pages and pages of arguments and debates and conversations about the free shipping that Amazon kind of makes their sellers do. And people talk about like really tight margins because because Amazon has the automatic returns. So, it's very common for people to buy things and then they're just like, nope, I want this. And it prints them out a label.
Item not as described.
Yeah, right. And then they lose that.
Yeah.
It's money. And, that's, I love it as a buyer.
Yeah,
I love
sure.
free shipping. But
yeah, sure.
as a seller, I feel like you have to do incredible
volume.
It's volume in order to make any money.
Yeah, you have to be, like, I remember talking about this with the eBay sales tax thing, the internet sales tax, where, they were talking about it like, small sellers that make $10 million. I'm like, that's a small seller? Jesus, like, I'm a tiny, tiny, tiny seller,
right.
So for that level of volume, it just does not seem, the benefits don't seem to be there for us.
I think the other thing is, as scavengers, we're selling all kinds of weird stuff.
Yeah.
Like the way we source, as we've always said, is that we're buying items that people are getting rid of. So our items are very often, they're special items. It's one-of-a-kind items. And I find people, our competition is less because we may have an item where there's only 3 of them on eBay. So I feel like we aren't really competing. Like if we were selling iPhone cases, it's you and 50,000 other people trying to sell an iPhone case. So you need to do free shipping because you need that one extra thing to get someone to sell.
You need to be 1 cent off. Your
seriously,
which is true, right?
Because your margins are so small, but you're probably selling so many of them. With us, if I'm selling a vintage typewriter, there might be, again, 3 other people. So I beat people on price, but I'm not going to do free shipping.
The other issue, too, that we talk about is because a lot of our items have make me an offer on it. Actually, a majority of our items do. That it's hard to do free shipping because people are always trying to get that low, offer in there. And it's just like, sometimes they're like $20 and you're like, wow, with free shipping, I didn't make any money.
Right. I'd rather give people a discount when they make an offer and then charge them to ship. So I let them feel they get a good deal, but then they still have to pay to ship because if they end up wanting to ship that thing back, then they pay for that and I don't have to eat that cost.
Right. So that's for us. That it makes sense for us.
But please go in the comments and give us your own experience because Steve did give some interesting ideas about we always do think of certain things we could do it's free shipping on, like ties or scarves. Things that you could put into a flat rate envelope, but we aren't big fans.
All right, so we hope that you come to the blog at ebayscavengers.com and leave some comments and start a conversation, and we'll look for you there. And hopefully the next episode is going to be Mikey and Wendy talking about their traveling adventures as well.
Yep. See ya!